What I've heard from so many people across the United States is that they understand the concept, they have all of those bluff answers, but now they're struggling coming up with new stories. So today, I'm going to give you a couple of resources, a couple of ideas in order to add more stories to your belt. Hello, everybody. Michael Harding here again with Chick-fil-A. And like I always say, thank you for joining us for our next episode of Memorable in Minutes, where we take high-level business content, interview questions, and break them down in ways that can be easily understood and delivered within a few moments. So today, what we're going to talk about is this concept of how to add more resources to your catalog of stories. How can you go through and continue to expand with what's going on? If you look back at some previous episodes, we unpacked the 3-step process of how to answer every interview question. You start with the bluff, you tell a story, and then you connect the bluff to the story with a nice little bow to summarize it. So what I've heard from so many people across the United States is that they understand the concept, they have all of those bluff answers, but now they're struggling coming up with new stories. So today, I'm going to give you a couple of resources, a couple of ideas in order to add more stories to your belt. So here's the principle. You need to put yourself in situations that individuals you have to put yourself in situations in order to grow. So we have internal things that you can do and external items that you can do. So let's start internally. Put yourself in situations that you want to grow in. So let's think about books or podcasts or going to conferences. These are items that you can do in order to grow some aspect of yourself. Think about a story where you want to grow your marketing avenues and you read this book by Gary Vaynerchuk in order to do that. Or you want to grow your leadership and you read 12 and a half in order to learn these 3 aspects of Gary Vaynerchuk's mindset about leading people effectively. That can be your story. So you start off by talking about being courageous. And then you unpack this book that you read, and then you go through and summarize how courageous is who you are and how the story of where you got this information from. So look back at those videos that I've done in the past about business acumen and figure out, what do you want to improve about yourself? Maybe you want to elevate a strength or you want to improve a weakness. Going through books, podcasts, and conferences are great ways to do that. So I'll drop some information in the comments below of some podcasts, some books, and some other resources like conferences that I would recommend that you attend. So let's look at external now. What are some things that you can do to put yourself in unique situations in order to grow? Do you want to elevate your communication? I recommend that everybody attend a Toastmasters class. Toastmasters is a nationwide organization that teaches you how to deliver information in concise ways. I had somebody tell me one time that their prompt was to convince the other person that they agreed with global warming. And here's the kicker. They didn't ask the person whether they agreed with global warming or not, but they had to give a 2-minute argument about why they did agree with it. They had about 30 seconds to think about it, and then they had to give a 2-minute spiel. And they graded you on how well you communicated, the strength of your argument, but then also, did you last the whole 2 minutes? Did you deliver everything in 45 seconds, or did it take you 5 minutes to deliver it? See how you can get used to being asked hard questions and answering them effectively. So I highly recommend Toastmasters. Also look at other organizations like C12, which is 12 Christian business owners that get together every single month to talk about business things. Think about Rotary, which is doing action together and is a international organization about doing good and different business leaders that are going through. Or maybe Young Professionals is another, or young professionals is another way that you can continue to grow who you are. So these are some just different aspects that you can do externally. But don't forget about the muscle of practice. Practice, practice, practice is so beneficial in order to perfect the art of interviewing. So if you have a spouse, answer interview questions every single night before you go to bed. If you have team members that you're working with on a daily basis, have them ask you questions. Practice makes it so that you can perfect the skill of interviewing. So that's what we want to talk about today. Some unique ways, whether that was internal growth or external growth, that you can do in order to put yourself in new situations, which will give you more stories, which will help you accomplish the goal that you have. Thank y'all for listening for this episode of Memorable in Minutes, and y'all have an amazing week.